Aloha, everyone, and welcome to 22 and You with myself, Neil Molokai Mystic, and my sidekick over here.
I'm Nick with my angels.
And this show is all about digging deep on the topics that are for the highest and greatest good. Sometimes it's a little uncomfortable, but that's why we do it together. We shine brighter together. So today's topic is shining your light through the darkness. And 2023 is going to call for a lot of us to really go inward, not just to stay there, but to go upward and to really ask for guidance, to collaborate, to learn to, hi Kaylee, to learn to really utilize the tools and the expansion that took place for us in 22, you know. So now is going to be time to really allow ourselves to feel through things. And when we feel through things, what are we being called to do? How are we being called to respond for the highest and greatest good? Which means going inward and upward. Okay. So, Nick, how are you feeling about this topic?
I don't know why. I mean, I love the topic. Actually, we discussed the topic, you and I, about, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago. We were talking about something and we realized, both of us, we were talking, and then we realized we had a different way to look at the same situation. Like we were
You had a
both
different call.
yeah, a different, like, and we had two different way of looking at it. And and then I was feeling like, yeah, but it's not about who is right. I was feeling like, am I doing it wrong? And you said absolutely not. Both are needed, both aspects are needed. And I told you, you know what, I mean, this is a topic that we need to discuss, because I'm sure everyone need to understand that. And I would like to say what title you were thinking about for the
Oh,
topic.
go ahead. I would like to hear
No,
you
no,
say
no,
that
no,
title.
no, 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 no. It was your idea.
Well, guys, we do. I had to ask, dude. I had to ask my guide if the title that I wanted was correct, and I got a no. Um, so, what we were drawn to was shining your light through the darkness. Um, but the original title that I wanted, that Nikki won't say, is turning the shit into fertilizer. So, um, but Nikki couldn't even type the title when we were setting up the StreamYard. So we didn't go with that one. But in essence, it really is about turning your pain into passion, um, turning the yucky stuff into something beautiful and empowering. Um, Katie's like, love that. Um, so the the topic of this show really came through because of some darkness, because of that heavy energy of and going inward and upward and discussing how can we be of help in such tragedy, um, where get things very procedurally. That's weird because I am a total right brain person. But and Nikki went into her compassionate heart. I'm looking at, okay, we need to have this as efficiently as possible, you know? And she's like, okay, she's just listening to me and listening to me, and all these things that I'm saying, she's like, that's good. And I'm going, but there was a compassionate part that is just as important as that efficiency part. And Nikki was tuning into that aspect. And she thought because I hadn't mentioned that aspect that it was perhaps wrong or like less than important. And and I'm like, no, it's perfect. This is exactly where you're being called to be of assistance. Um, so this is what we're referring to is where your passion is, where you are being feeling that pain the most is empowering to you. So the situation that we were discussing was the earthquake that took place, and it's still taking place. They are still going through things, and they're going to continue to go through things, but there's also a continuation of earthquakes actually taking place in that region right now. Um, and so my aspect was making sure that the people that were under buildings at this point, collapsed buildings, were sustained, were strong, were um, reserving their oxygen supply, so forth, and that the search and rescue was focused, clear, being led and guided to the right spaces. And then we went through all of the different aspects from the triage to the hospital supplies to making sure that energetically we were supporting these different things. And Nikki brought in her passion, which was to make sure that those that were going through the triage, if you've got a broken arm or a broken leg or something that is not life threatening, you kind of get thrown to the side. You kind of get kicked off the list. And the more life threatening things go through, and everybody's sat there, gone to the emergency room. Your child is ill, or it's devastating to you, but those that are of life threatening situations get put before you. That does not negate your pain for your child. So Nikki honed in on that aspect of it. Those that felt like they weren't important, you know, that they were not seen. Um, Logistically, we know that there's things that have to flow a certain way. Hello. Um, but that does not mean that anybody else is less than worthy of getting that support. And so that was what Nikki honed in on. It was like, okay, and you're going to take care of this. Does that make one or the other less? No, they're both just as important. And this is where I'm saying where your heart is called to, where you're feeling it the most, this is where you're empowered. This is where you have the opportunity to have those passionate intentions. And this is what brings the help. And my son is calling me.
So, um, just to explain a little bit, like you did explain it, Neil, and I to give the example a little bit more in, like you were telling me, uh, we were praying together for these people, and you were telling me, I'm praying for the rescuer to be guided to the most extreme cases, so that these people, so that they know who to focus on most. And here I felt like, yeah, but what about the others? Like they will feel alone, they will feel neglected, they will feel like it's not fair. I understand that those whose, I mean, their life is in danger, but the others won't understand because they are feeling the pain too. They need assistance too, even if their pain is less dangerous, let's say. So I felt like I was doing it wrong by thinking about the people who are neglected by the rescuers. And you told me that no, it's because this is where I am called for action. And when you told me that, I had another, like maybe 2 days later, I saw a post of someone raising money, raising funds for to help rescue the animals that were also under the buildings of the earthquake, etc. And here I see, on Facebook, you would see so many people commenting up and down, and you have some nasty commenters too. And I saw a lot of people commenting like, people are dying and you're raising money for the animals. Well, yeah, I mean, if you're not, if it's not your calling to take care of the animals, then you have also organizations raising money for people. You don't need to criticize those who are doing it for the animals, just do it for people. If it's not where your heart is, don't do it. Do something else. Do wherever you feel your heart is calling you to do that. You don't need to attack those who are doing something different. So I know it's different from what we were discussing, you and I, but it goes towards the same thing. It's like when you feel called to help in a certain area, help in that area without criticizing those who do it differently.
Exactly. There's so many aspects in the world today that need assistance. And the best assistance is going to be from those that have a passion about it,
Yeah,
you know. And this covers all of the bases, you know. So you don't have to give.
yeah,
Yeah, you follow your calling. And if you are called, this is where you are led to be of support, you know. So as so as we walk through the darkness of things that we feel that are that tend to make our gifts feel like a curse, you know, it makes us feel like every time you walk into a room and you can tell whether or not there's been joy or tears, you know, if it there if you walk into a space and energetically you can feel that there is something heavy, you have choices. You can choose to be of support and clear that space because it came into your awareness for a reason. It's an informational purpose. And so you can choose to open a window and let some life force energy in. You can choose to bring out some sage and clear that space because the awareness that's being brought into you is not just to make you feel uncomfortable. You know, it's like, oh, this room is icky. You know, it's giving you an opportunity to answer a call. Okay, it's the same thing when you feel the energy of pain when you walk by the news station, or you know that the news station is on your TV, and a lot of us empaths we kind of avoid the news, you know, because it's really a heavy thing. But when you choose to experience the news in a way that says, "How can I be of service? Where is my pain being drawn to assist? And how can I support this?" You know, my mom used to think that animals didn't have soul. I think she changed her mind before she passed, and now for sure she knows. Absolutely. There's going to be a lot of things that people think that this is the way it is because this is the belief that has kept them safe, you know. And there's a lot of people that are going to be surprised when they go on to the other side. Trust me on that one. And that's okay. It's okay because whatever their beliefs are, help them for their lessons in this journey. But so the focus here, guys, is really about how can you keep shining your light, especially when you get triggered into feeling the pain of the world. You are not helpless. And whatever sparks that passion of pain, turn that passion of pain into empowerment. This is where you can be of most support. You know,
I
and
would like to ask I mean, everyone listening to us, when you hear about a tragedy, any kind of tragedy, what do you feel called to do? I I would love to hear, to see in the comments, what do you feel called to do? What is your reaction? Uh, I know some people feel like they need to pray. Some people start a prayer circle. Some people donate money. Some people send supplies. Some people, I mean, what do you do? What is your calling? Because you will see each of us have a different calling, and we all complete each other.
yeah, absolutely. And like you were talking about before, when someone is looking at, you know, putting food in the mouth of children versus homing an animal or rescues, and they think that one is more important than the other. We're all connected. Everything is connected.
Yeah,
And it is important that we all have our own passions because, again, your passion gets turned into powerful intentions, you know? And just like some of us might do energy healing, and some of us might do surgical work, and some of us might be great cooks, you are nurturing the world. If one person is a great cook, one person is a great gardener, you know these two things, they connect. There is purpose behind all of our passions. And when we feel like we are hurting, tap into that pain, because when we feel pain because of a need, and it is making us feel like our gifts are a curse because it hurts so much, you're being called. You're being called to do something. Whether it is prayer, finances, action, words, petitions, whatever it is, you're being called. You're not being tapped in that pain for that pain to just sit there. Turn that crap into fertilizer, guys. Expand, grow. It's hard for me when I consider that sometimes people think that, like, being an empath is so devastating, when it's like you are feeling things because you are meant to be of support in a very passionate way. Yeah.
I would like to answer to Kaylee, and I mean, anyone who feels like helpless. And I have been in a situation many times where I I was living in a, you can call it a disaster, like, because I have been through war. So, and living in a war zone is not fun at all. So we have been living days and nights in shelters. I have lived days and days without water or electricity or food or access to anything. We have lived, I have lived separated from my family, not knowing where they are because I was walking in the street and heading to my grandmother's house. I was 10 years old and it was walking distance. And then the bomb started and I had to hide. And then 3 days I got separated and no phones at the time. So not knowing where anyone was, and they didn't know where I was. I lived through all of that. And like people can think, if you are living in a safe zone, you might think, yeah, but what can I do? Like, I don't have the finances. I cannot go there in that war zone to help these people. What can I do? Well, trust me, it's just if when you meet, like, I'm originally from Lebanon, I live in Lebanon, and I'm talking about the Lebanese war. If you meet a Lebanese in your country and you tell them, I heard on the news what's going on in your country, and like I feel for your people, you're already doing something. Just saying that, because the worst thing I have gone through is feeling invisible. Because when you feel invisible through what your pain in in the disaster that is going on, it's the most horrible feeling you can have. And I think that is where my calling is coming from. And this is why I feel called to go to the people who might be forgotten. It's because I have gone through that. So don't think you can do nothing if you don't have the finances. We I didn't need the money. I didn't need the food. I didn't need to be saved from there. I just needed to be seen. I needed someone to say, I know what you're going through. That's it. That is all that mattered. Instead of saying, what can I do? I can do nothing. Instead of saying, what can I do? I can do nothing, saying, I see you. That's it.
And I like Annette's comment as well. You know, I pray to Jesus, Mother Mary, to wrap her arms around Turkey and all those giving to give them the strength they need. You know, I say to the Holy Rosary, and I ask Archangel Michael to protect them. You know, so these are ways that you are turning your passion into empowerment. You know, you're supporting them, and Julie's asking, well, when you pray, what do you ask for? Well, what I pray for and what I ask for, like Annette, it's very personal and it's very direct to what my passions are. You know, see these people, like Nikki's saying, see them, feel them, be them, you know, be a part of what they're going through, and then turn that into a prayer. What is it that can support whatever it is that you're supporting for the highest and greatest good? Okay. How many of you guys, raise your hand, how many of you have felt the pain and felt helpless? Situation far away. How many of you guys have felt that? Then, yeah, I can't see your hands up, but you take that hand and you put it on your heart. I see you. I feel you. I'm with you. How can I be of service? How can I be of service? Service of the heart, energetically, prayerfully. Call in your team to support the teams of that country. You know, just because we're on the other side of the world does not mean we cannot be of support to others. It's the same thing when you see strangers arguing across the street. Just because you don't know them doesn't mean you can't stand in the energy of success from that argument. You can't stand in the energy of them learning those hard lessons. Be the change you want to see. If you Know that there's someone out there that is hungry or struggling to get away from drug addiction. Be in the energy of having a full tummy and send that energy to them to help them through it. Be in the energy of loving yourself enough to know what your body needs and doesn't need, and the strength to honor that worthiness. Be in the energy of what it is that you want to see that change happen. It's not it's not about all of the grand gestures that people do that makes anything that you do on your own in your personal energetic space, sacred space, in your intentions, in your prayers, in your efforts to bring a smile to someone with, like, say, one of Julie Wentz's cards that just give you a spark of inspiration for the day. The grand gestures of the world do not make your gestures any less important, no matter where your passion is focused. Everyone's darkness has a light, and you are meant to shine it.
I love that. I love that. And I love that you mentioned Julie's cards because this means so much. It really means so much. And I actually, I mean, um, again, during the war, I was the recipient of, I don't know if any of the community here participated in that, but it was coming actually from the US. Uh, as a child and during the war, I was the recipient of, it was a shoebox that came from the US, and it had supplies and a little card and like a toothbrush, toothpaste, um, coloring
Crayons.
crayons, and oh my God, it made us so happy when we got that. It was like the happiest moment to receive something. And you know what? It wasn't about the supplies in the box. It was about the gesture. It was about this person who took the time to gather this stuff because when they did, they were thinking about you.
I
And
love
this
that.
is, I mean, it stays with me until now. I have goosebumps until
So
today.
why?
Yeah, until today, when I think about this shoebox I received. And like I said, it's not about what was inside, it's the gesture. So, yes, you can do something, even,
And you sharing this right now, it means a lot to me because I have sent supplies. I have sent letters. I have sent those Christmas cards. I have my religious ed students all gather things and create these shoe boxes and send them out. And once they leave our arms with love and prayers, we don't know if we made them smile or cry, you know? Um, yeah, exactly, and um, so it does it makes a difference not only to us who sent it, but we understand by your words and your experience that it impacted you
oh,
in
yeah,
a way that said somebody sees me,
yes,
you know.
absolutely, yes. Yeah.
Sometimes I get confused as to what I should pray for. What if I pray for the survival, but that is not their path? Hmm. So I've kind of come to a praying that they feel the presence, comfort, peace, and love of spirit in their anguish to support them on their journey and path.
Perfect.
Aloha, Anna. Andrea, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And this is where a lot of times when I say all that's divine, all that is true, and all that is needed, I'm not trying to control someone else's journey or path. I'm bringing in all that's divine, all that is true, and all that is needed for their highest and greatest good, whatever that might be for their journey slash path. So that's perfect.
That
That's
is exactly you're doing exactly what you're meant to do, Andrea. Like
exactly.
you just send the energy of the prayer and then you let spirit decide. Um, Hi,
And
Anna.
yes, for their highest and greatest good. Um, and this is where we honor each individual's journey. You know, we trust that the divine has their back, and we're just energetically bringing in more love and light for the situation. What I also found was um, in certain areas around the world, they're very dedicated to um, different deities or gods or saints, or like here on Molokai, it's Saint Damien and Saint uh, Marianne. And when you are called to support another aspect of the world in their events that are occurring, it's helpful also to know who is very strong for their spiritual support. You know, not saying you're praying to someone that you don't feel called to, but if the energy of that, like in Lebanon, Mother Mary is very prominent. I didn't know that at the time, but I remember a time where I called in and Mother Mary was just wrapping them in her blue robe and just protecting everybody. Um, and it just so happened that she was the one who stepped forward to support. Why? Because this is where the people gain strength. You know, they gain their their inner empowerment to continue to bring that joy, to feel safe, to feel comforted, whatever it takes for the area that you're focusing on, whether it's animals and shelters, whether it is um, the children that are suffering, whether it is the environment or climate change. Bring in the energy that is going to be the most support for the highest and greatest good. Understanding that where you feel that pain is where you're being called to. You know, I have an urge to help everyone to the point it hurts. I really take on the pain, but I never know what to do except hugs. But when you can't hug or talk, I'm stuck. I do pray, but messages are in bulk. You know, you're feeling the pain, one, because you have to remember that it's not yours, it's just for informational purposes. So when we feel the pain, we ask ourselves, is it mine? First, I always ask, is this mine or somebody else's? You know, where am I supposed to be focusing? Am I supposed to be focusing on them, or am I supposed to be focusing on myself? And if it is someone else, then I know that, okay, this is information. And in this information, I'm being called for something, whether it be hugs, whether it be prayers, whether it be silent intentions of just supporting their higher self through calling in extra guides, angels, the universe, whatever it is that you are connecting with. Um, it could just be allowing yourself to give them a message of support. I'm here. I'm here. I see you. I feel you. I am you. You know, I am a part of you. No matter where you are, I am a part of you. And just letting someone know that you're there for them is that hug. You know, it really is. So, again, guys, we can shine in the darkness. And actually, when you tap in and you turn the me into the we and you collaborate with the divine, your light is even brighter. You're not just a flicker in that darkness. You are a beam of hope, a beam of support. So listen to your pain, listen to your heartache. And when you listen to the news, don't absorb it. It's information. It's information, and whatever triggers you, that's where you're being called to support. You know, it could be sending those boxes to faraway lands and knowing that whoever receives it, their life's going to be changed. They're not going to be alone. They're not going to feel alone. They're going to have a your gesture.
Yeah.
Leaving a card just saying you're important to the world inside of a shopping cart makes somebody's day. You know, their darkness could be a lot darker than yours. You don't know. And you could be that light. Nikki?
I was listening to you, and I know I'm repeating myself here, but don't, like, however small to you your gesture might feel, don't don't think of it as small, because it can make a whole big difference.
Absolutely.
Like, sometimes I'm a living example of that. Sometimes just walking in the street and someone just crossing by and giving me a smile could change my day and shift it completely. So, a tiny thing you might do, just like smiling at a stranger, can make a whole big difference. So
Absolutely.
don't think big. You don't need to think big and feel overwhelmed and then do nothing because you feel like I can't do the big stuff. I don't have the tools to do the big stuff, so I'll do nothing. No, just smile. Open the door for someone.
Yeah,
Give a simple card. Say thank you. It changed the world.
it does. It does. It could also save a life,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
you know? Seriously. It can save a life, you guys. Um, just bring yourself home and let yourself honor the feelings that you are enduring and ask. Again, I'm sure a lot of you guys had your hands up when it comes to have I ever felt like my gifts are a curse? You know, put your hand on your heart. I see you. I feel you. I am you. How can I be of service? How can I serve today? In a world that can be so dark sometimes, but you are all lights. We can all shine through that darkness. And remember, your passions, your pain can be turned into empowerment. With the cost of the living crisis, I have little family not far from me. I know their mom and dad struggling. I have been going as a few months leave what food I can in the gate and go. I know the kids have what. Oh, with treats. Oh, see, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
You make a difference. You're making me want to cry because it's so beautiful. It's those little gestures that keep that light burning, to keep the hope for the next day. Because sometimes it's not one day at a time for people. It's one moment at a time. Right now, earlier in the show, I said, "Oh, my son is calling," and I had to respond because there's a situation, and a lot of you guys have been praying for, and it's one moment at a time, you know. Um, and it's in that darkness, it's in that pain that we can shine the brightest. Why? Because it's tapping on us. It's saying, hey, you can do something. You can change the world today, one moment at a time. So,
And there is something I used to do a lot, and now I am learning not to do, is to compare myself. And to compare myself in a way, when what I'm talking about is to compare what I have to offer, and always feeling like what I have to offer is never enough compared to what others are doing. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Um, I was always feeling like what I'm doing is nothing compared to what others are doing for the world, for the universe, for humanity. And I was always feeling like like I wasn't enough because I wasn't doing enough. And you know what? By feeling this and putting this energy on myself, like I'm not doing enough, I was taking from my resources, wasting this energy that I have into thinking I wasn't giving enough, whereas I could use this energy into giving more. So don't waste time comparing what you have to offer. Just give what you have, what you can, and it is always enough. Whatever it is enough, even if what you have to give is taking one breath at a time. It's enough.
you being here in this world is enough, you know. So, one moment at a time, one breath at a time, one intention at a time. You know, comparing, it lowers your energy. You know, it lowers your energy and it underestimates your gifts. It underestimates the trust that you have in the divine. You know, because if the divine trusted you with these gifts, this heart, these emotions, it has a purpose, and you're a part of that purpose. You know? So,
Hello, Ako.
yeah. So, again, guys, whatever you're called to do is what you're meant to do. Mhm. Your gifts are of the divine, and allow the divine to shine, especially in the darkness. So don't be afraid to turn your shit into fertilizer, you know, because it's nurturing everything and everyone, you know. And if you feel like you don't have anyone in your life to say I love you to, go look in the mirror. Go look in the mirror, because you loving yourself enough to say I love you raises that vibration. You raise your vibration, you are connected to the universe, because we're all connected. And this is why I say when I see you, I am you. We're all a part of one another. And it takes a village. It takes a village to raise every single child, and we are all children. So I hope that this helps you turn your pain into empowerment and realize that you're being tapped for a reason. So go inward and upward to find out what that reason is and where you can be of most help for the highest and greatest good, even in the smallest of gestures. Even in the smallest of gestures. You guys all heard Nikki focus in on that, making sure that those who were put aside were seen. I bet you not one of you guys felt that her focus was any less than important than what I was focusing on. It was just as important. So never underestimate your ability to shine so bright that hope for the hopeless is reborn, relit, ignited in their hearts. So, anything else, Nick?
I think we covered it all.
All right. So, does anybody have any questions before we sign off? Thank you. And I want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you for taking the time and the energy to realize that you are all important to this world and beyond, actually. You all have a purpose. And by you guys sitting in on these talks and sitting in and watching these shows that help you go inward, upward, and expand, you're saying to yourself, you love yourself. Not just that you love everybody in the world, you love yourself as well. And we love you, and we see you, and we thank you. Oh, see, I love that.
Yeah,
This is how we shine brighter together, you guys. Time. Sometimes one show at a time.
yeah. We missed you. We missed you all. We couldn't do our show on Sunday and yesterday, so we didn't want to miss the 22nd, 22 and you.
Oh, prayers for your son, Diana. Yes. I see you too, Viv. And speaking of prayers and son, thank you all who have been supporting me and my family um, in your prayers. Your love is really being felt. Um, right now, I just got notification that she's being transported to another hospital. So prayers for her safe travel and her new journey and while she's in another hospital. Um, I will update in the prayer group as soon as I get some more information on that. So it will make a
Thank you.
difference. I really do appreciate it. This individual was on life support just days ago. So you guys are powerful. And even though this is a time that consisted of a lot of pain, what do we do? We turn that pain into passionate empowerment together. You know, we make a difference.
Yeah.
So,
Akko, if you're not in the prayer group, I will add you. Yes, there is a prayer group. You might have missed the notification when it was created. I will add you, no worries.
yes. Amen, Diana. She says prayers are powerful.
Absolutely, yes.
Yes. Okay, guys. I'm going to go get some more details. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, it is aloha from me as I ask you guys all to continue to shine your light in the darkness because we shine brighter
Together.
together.
Yes, Diana, and yes, Annette, I will add you, of course.
Okay. Aloha, everyone.
Good night.